Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we're going on a galaxy quest in the Rundown.
Plus, Vic and I catch up with the heroes and villains behind Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Are you even pulling? Are you on my team?
Just represent, pull.
All right, let's go.
And then we break bad with a look at the entire first season of Better Call Saul.
I know how to find you, James McGill. Understand what I'm saying?
Also coming up, we have an eye-popping review of Xenoblade Chronicles for the 3DS. We take a look back at Ghostbusters, the video game, and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. Someone was on a rampage and tried to take my car, but I took care of them with the Rundown. One of the biggest video game franchises of all time is about to be turned into a movie, but not in the way you might think. The BBC is working on a film that will explore the controversy surrounding the Grand Theft Auto series. The movie will tell the story of the legal battle between developer Rockstar Games and the now disbarred attorney Jack Thompson, who tried to censor the games by promoting unconstitutional legislation in the U.S. Call of Duty veteran Bill Paxton will play Jack Thompson, while the hero of the film, Rockstar co-founder Sam Houser, will be played by Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe. Filming begins soon.
Hey, my car!
The world is still waiting for a new Star Trek series, but here's the next best thing. Variety reports that a TV show based on the 1999 sci-fi comedy Galaxy Quest is in development. The original film's writing team is developing the small screen adaptation, but there's no word yet if any of the same actors will be back. Galaxy Quest told the story of washed-up actors from an old sci-fi TV series who are forced to go on a real-life outer space adventure with hilarious results. A sequel was rumored to be in the works shortly after the first film came out, but it never materialized. Hopefully the show will have better luck. A couple of awesome stories today in the Rundown, and here to help me discuss them is an awesome gentleman, Scott Jones. Galaxy Quest, we love that movie.
I'm so happy that I get to talk about this.
Yeah.
Again, it was in our top 100 films of all time. We love it, and I've watched it many times over the years. I don't know where they're going to move the universe now going forward, but I like the idea of people who used to star on a TV show somehow doing some of the things that they actually do on the TV show. That's an interesting concept to me.
Well, what's cool about that idea is that they were, living the high life as actors in this fictional thing. Then they were on the sort of
downward slide.
The con circuit for a while, sort of thinking back about their heydays. But now they have to kind of create that as some kind of fantasy thing as they actually become adventurers in outer space. I think it'd be a great idea for a TV show.
But the real question is,
the cast.
Sigourney Weaver, is she going to be in it? Alan Rickman, is he going to be in it? Tim Allen, is he going to be in it? And without those people, I think it means a little bit less. But maybe we just get used to them, and it worked for The Office. They got, they got to remake it. Yeah, they got new people, and we all eventually fell in love with them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the thing that's great is television is so good now that a lot of big movie actors are doing TV and having a lot of success with it. Like us.
We're big movie actors.
Yeah, well, I'm psyched.
Yeah.
However Galaxy Quest comes back, I want to come back. All right, Grand Theft Auto as a movie, me too. This is really cool, but it's not what you think. It's talking about the legal stuff that happened with Jack Thompson and the development of Grand Theft Auto as a series. Now, it's being funded by the BBC, which is significant because obviously Grand Theft Auto is an incredibly huge cultural, artifact in the UK. It's all built out of Scotland, this series, and obviously it's incredibly important to UK citizens, so I think it's great that the BBC is doing something around it.
I'm interested in these stories. I mean, this is the stuff we talk about every day.
Yes.
I can't believe they're building a movie around this particular subject matter.
Right.
It's very compelling to me. I feel like what's happening with our beloved mediums is they're kind of moving into pop culture in more acceptable, kind of approachable, digestible ways. I like these stories. They're great stories, and I'm glad they're reaching more people.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we used to consider very nerdy and very sort of, protective about, they're everybody's interest now. Everybody's stories out there. And case in point is the new Avengers movie, Age of Ultron. Let's go behind the scenes. Are you proud of your growing family? Like every time you come here, there's a new actor, there's new roles. It just keeps growing and growing.
It's awesome. I was reading some article about the Marvel Universe, and they said there were like 6,000 some characters in there. I was like, really? Wow. One of these days I gotta talk to 6,000 people? It'd be like a superhero concert or something. It'd be awesome.
There's that balance of just being able to play the drama and the emotion, but then just have that light humor to it, and the banter that when they put sort of egos that superheroes must have, and you got Iron Man in one and Thor in the other, and then you put us in there. My guy's like super fast, and he's hot-tempered and frustrated. Everyone's so slow, and everyone just butts heads, and then you just get this beautiful magic. And Joss knows how to kind of play that. It's like a freaking Rubik's Cube, you know?
To use every single character's voice. Like he is, I don't know how many voices he has going on in his head because there's a lot of us, and he's able to write well for every single character.
Didn't see that coming.
What is it like getting to play Hawkeye? This is an amazing role for you.
Yeah, it is. It's been fun on this one because we got to explore a little bit more of who he is and his relationships with people, with Widow and others, and there's another secret and that's revealed, which is actually really cool. It might be my favorite part of the story.
He is a soldier, so he's used to that kind of structured format. So without S.H.I.E.L.D., he is kind of leaning upon his Avenger buddies as a military dynamic. There's nobody leading the group, so it is just it's more of a family as opposed to military.
The first script was, it was huge. And then it evolved, over the 6 months that I've read it to now. And just impressed at what Joss had done. He brought these characters back together and managed to throw in a whole different sort of threat and dynamics.
Be right back.
Tell me if you relate to this. I think we're responsible for entertaining ourselves in life. And Tony is kind of this cornucopia. There's always another angle on him. But I think Tony's ready for the next challenge, but he's also trying to make it so that it's not always on the Avengers when something goes down.
Are you even pulling? Are you on my team?
Just represent, pull.
In real world time, at what point wouldn't government say, that's great, Avengers, thanks a lot. You don't really answer to anyone, right? You just bust up cities and then we're supposed to say thank you. I think that's the biggest innovation in Age of Ultron, is that we really start looking at it more in a real world view type situation, which to me always makes it more evocative and interesting.
Anybody remember when I carried a nuke through a wormhole?
No, it's never come up.
Save New York?
Never heard that.
Age of Ultron, what Joss Whedon has done exceptionally well, I've never really seen it quite done like this before, is it really is a Swiss watch of character and action and stakes, and it's easily the best bad guy plot I've ever even read in a script, let alone gone out and shot.
How could you be worthy? You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
Tell us about your take on Ultron. What kind of a character is this guy?
Very, very complex. Joss Whedon wrote a really interesting character, and he really used the comics as a jumping off point, and it turned into this robot who is a lot of the conflicts and idiosyncrasies and anger and fears and everything that are so human. And he's got a real biblical complex. He's a very complicated guy.
There are no strings on me.
We think of them all as superheroes, but in fact, they're just really nice people.
I agree. Stick around when we come back. Scott and Marissa have their final opinion of the first season of Better Call Saul.
I'm your brother? We're supposed to look out for each other? Why were you working against me, Chuck?
You got a real lawyer.
If you're a Ghostbusters fan, you probably already know about this game. You probably already picked it up. It's Ghostbusters, the video game. This was the one developed by Terminal Reality for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PC as well.
No, not the containment unit. That's some highly sensitive equipment you're disintegrating there, kid.
Solid game, very good art. There's some really great sort of comedic situations in here. The action's actually pretty solid. It really evokes the Ghostbusters films in a very solid way. But I think the best thing about this, especially in the wake of Harold Ramis's passing, rest in peace, is that we actually have the voice cast from the films in this game. So it's the closest thing that we have until they make a sequel, if they ever do, to kind of recreating the vibe of the classic Ghostbusters films.
Well, hello. You're perfectly safe now, Miss.
The Ghostbusters are here.
Back off, loser. Never gonna happen.
That approach rarely works with me. I'll show you why later.
They did a very solid job. It was apparent that this was lovingly crafted. I love the visual effects. I love the quips. I loved getting slimed in this thing and all of the upgrades that you could do to your weapons there. And also capturing the ghosts was always a really fun mechanic in this game.
Yeah, perfect. See? That's a big wow.
This was a really nice surprise, and as a Ghostbusters fan, this was really one of the coolest things that I played on the Xbox 360. I definitely think you should hunt this down if you haven't already. It's buried treasure.
Oh yeah, who are you gonna call, Vic?
Well, it might not be Ghostbusters, as awesome as that game was, Vic.
Yes, that's right. It's solved because you and I have watched all 10 episodes of the season. Here are our final thoughts on the show.
Breaking Bad fans, Better Call Saul has come to an end. Yes, the last episode has aired. Marissa and I have been watching it every step of the way. We've seen the relationship between Jimmy McGill and his brother, played by Michael McKean.
I'm your brother? We're supposed to look out for each other? Why were you working against me, Chuck?
You got a real lawyer.
The first few episodes did feel like there were big stretches of time where nothing was really happening and I was just kind of holding my breath waiting for something to happen. But now it just feels like I've become involved in this guy's life. I really want everything for him. I want everything good for him because he really seems like he is this good-hearted guy. He's coming into his own here, and this relationship he has with his brother is so interesting.
Yeah, I think Bob Odenkirk has really come into his own as an actor, and he's definitely, I can't imagine anybody else playing the character of Saul Goodman. And sort of what happens over the course of the series is nothing surprising, nothing that we didn't know from the outset. This is the story of how Jimmy McGill became Saul Goodman. And I guess some of the feelings or fears that I had at the beginning was, you know, they kind of came true for me. I don't feel like the show ever really lifted off in a profound way, certainly not on the level or dramatic moments the way that Breaking Bad did. And it just seemed like it was treading water for all 10 episodes. I mean, Michael Mando was a huge character in the first couple of episodes, and we're personal friends with him.
I know how to find you, James McGill. Understand what I'm saying?
So we were rooting for him, and I just kept thinking, well, this is going to be a great character going forward. And then he kind of just gone from the show. And I did read a little bit behind the scenes. The writers were writing the show organically over the course of the season, and Michael Mando's character wasn't really involved. The more the writers kept writing, the more they kept rehearsing, the more they kept kind of growing the show. And I think the way Vince Gilligan makes shows is he does grow it like it's an organic thing, like it's a plant or some creature or something. And so sometimes things, the directions that you think the show's going to go in or should go in, it doesn't really arrive at those places. And this show kind of frustrated me because I still like this character.
Yeah.
I love the Saul Goodman character.
It's showtime, folks.
I liked finding out how he went from Slippin' Jimmy all the way to Saul Goodman, but I wasn't really satisfied. It didn't break my heart the way that the Star Wars prequels, episodes 1, 2, and 3 did. But I don't feel like I really needed this information.
Well,
ultimately.
that's a lot of heartbreak. But you're right, it does take a long time to get where it needs to go. But the thing is the relationships that you're finding throughout the show, because it is taking so long. It's a slow grow. We're sitting there watching our little potted plant come to life, and we're watching little Saul grow into the man that he's supposed to be. And I'm okay with that. I've accepted that now. It's taking a long time. But it's okay because I know that the show still has great writing. There's still something beautiful there that we're watching.
There is, but I don't think there's a satisfying TV show, certainly not satisfying in the way that I expected it to be, you know, considering the success of Breaking Bad. I just didn't feel like it had enough high highs or low lows. I just kind of walked away from this feeling like, why did we do this? Why did we go on this journey?
You didn't like when he was in the bathroom at the old folks' home writing on the toilet paper?
There are lots of nice moments, but they don't add up to enough for my ridiculous standards, I guess.
This guy is just living his life. He's trying to make something of himself. And maybe if somebody had a camera on us all day trying to live our lives.
Super boring. No,
right. So it has to make someone's life real and grounded, which it is. Planted in your pot of soil, like you said.
It's a TV show, though.
It is a TV show.
I wanted it to do more than that. Not only is it a TV show, it's from the legacy of Breaking Bad, from the legacy of Vince Gilligan. These guys are incredibly successful. They are so smart. And this show, I don't think, really lifted off, not just for me, but I don't think for fans out there who are fans of Breaking Bad.
It's tough. That's fair.
People are going to keep watching this. You're going to keep watching this. I'm going to keep watching this for the next season. No, but there's going to be another season, and we're going to watch it.
Is there another season?
There's going to be, because people like the show.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. For me, I feel like I'm out at this point.
You're not out.
Yeah, I'm out. That's
it.
Give
me a break. You're just in a bad mood today. What are you scoring Better Call Saul?
Not in a bad mood today. I'm just being honest and real. I'm going to give it a 7.
Thank you for that very honest and real score. I'm giving it an 8.
You know, I never quite hung up on Saul, but I came pretty close a few times. You know, I needed more Mando and more cowbell.
Well, after the break, we've got more Xenoblade. That's right, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D is up after this.
What is a Xenoblade, do you know?
We'll get to that later.
How is a baby made?
No matter how many times I see this, I never get used to it.
Welcome back to EP Daily. Okay, you JRPG junkies, have we got a treat for you? Vic and I feasted, we collected, we fought, and we died numerous times. Must be time for a review. Here's Xenoblade Chronicles 3D.
Before developers around the world used Kickstarter to get some of their games funded, there were things like petitions that went around. Operation Rainfall was a big one that brought Xenoblade Chronicles to the Wii, and that was a big success. And now it is out for the new 3DS in 3D. What do you think, my friend?
Well, I saw the review that you did with Scott for the one.
We aired it not too long ago.
Yeah, not too long ago, which was interesting. I didn't think that Scott would like a game like this, but he actually got into it.
It kind of overcomes you. It's a big game, and there's a lot of stuff to do and enjoy and appreciate in this game.
This game is huge, but I absolutely love when a JRPG throws me into this amazing battle that happens off the top, and it usually happens with all of them, unless some kind of amnesia happens, and then you have to start learning the backstory. But
there's always the chosen one.
I know, it's true. This one, there is a chosen one for sure, Shulk. But you get thrown into it, and you get to see this beautiful story that unfolds between different characters that I'm getting to know for the first time because I didn't play this game.
Yeah, the giant Titan-like creations. One's a Bionus and one's a Mechonus, so it's biology versus mechanical. That age-old story. And they are Titans that fight forever, for eternity, until finally they fall against each other and die together with their swords in each other. And then little civilizations pop up on the tops of these giant creatures.
No matter how many times I see this, I never get used to it.
We're jumping into this game and getting to know this new character. For me, he's new. I do like him, though. He has personality, and so do all the other characters around him. They all have their own individual personalities, and I really fall
charming
into.
accents.
Look, it's Bionus.
I think they're English, you think they're Australian. They're charming, and they're different than what we're used to, which is usually very Americanized. Not that the American voice actors are doing a poor job, but I'm just used to lots of squealing, girly voice types. And
okay, I don't know what you're trying to say
and
right now,
some androgynous male types as well. But this sounds a little bit different. I like the voices, and I liked the storytelling, but I don't know if it's the story really that makes me appreciate the game. I think this is pretty solid gameplay. And there's this giant, awesome sword that comes into play later on, too, which starts to wipe out some of the enemies in a very fulfilling and satisfying way.
It is, but you have to wait for that baby to charge up.
You do.
I do love that, though. I love that you're managing these power-ups, but your character is fighting already for you. Like, you don't need to worry about that. You just need to worry about managing everything else, which is still a lot. There's a lot of management happening here. So the story is not the sell here, though. The fighting and the exploration is.
Not crazy about the UI, not crazy about having to lift my eyes off of either screen to manage my hit points, and
especially
also
when you're not using the touchscreen.
Yeah, you're not using the touchscreen, and there's a lot of timed events as well that you miss because your eyes are bouncing all over the place, and the 3D isn't that effective when you've got mushy, muddy, Wii caliber SD visuals like this. So some of the textural stuff is a little bit hard to read.
Yeah.
It's not great on the 3DS, apart from the fact that it's a pretty great game. I preferred playing it on the Wii, but I think it's such a cool experience to be able to walk around with you. It's a must-buy if you've got the new 3DS.
It's a must-buy if you love JRPGs and if you have a new 3DS.
Right.
That's just the bottom line. If you like both of those things, if you have a new 3DS, then this game is for you. This is, if you have never played a JRPG before, I wouldn't suggest jumping into this one. It's too much. It's a lot to handle.
But it's really well made. What are you gonna give it?
A 7.5.
Gets an 8 from me.
I feel like the new 3DS should just become a perma home for all JRPGs. Just a thought. We've got more thoughts to share when we answer your questions after this.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is time now for my favorite part of every episode.
Dance break?
It is the Twitter question. No, dance break comes later. Okay. Twitter question of the day. Today's question comes from Adam Noseworthy. He is at Darth Wiggin. He says, family man on a time budget and can only fit in one video game and one TV show. What of the current choices, which ones should they be?
Feel for him.
You get one TV show. Yeah, you're a family man now, too. Your time is very restricted.
One and one is not enough.
No, it is enough.
Not enough.
For a lot of people. They don't live the way you live or I live.
I guess it's not their job.
Yeah, it's not their job.
Look
So
at all
one
this
TV
stuff.
show, one video game. You want me to do mine first?
Yes, go.
Okay, I'm going to say Bloodborne, and if you buy only one game this year, you should make it Bloodborne because that thing will keep you busy for the next 2-3 years, maybe.
Right. And your TV show?
TV show would be Daredevil, I think. I can't, not hear you and Marissa talk about it constantly.
Yes.
So if you got to pick two things, those are the two you go with.
Excellent choices. Mine are Ori and the Blind Forest and The Flash, which would be the more family-friendly versions of what you've been talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Incredible games. And listen, if you want to get caught up on more ideas for you to play and watch, hit our website, epn.tv.
And don't miss tomorrow's episode. We've got an interview with the keeper of the Holocron. It's Leland Chee from LucasArts. Thanks for watching, everybody.
We'll see you tomorrow.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Dragon Mania Legends, which you can play for free right now.
You have the job of putting together the biggest Star Wars puzzle known to mankind.
Essentially, yes. So for those who might not know, the Holocron is the name of an internal database that we have that keeps track of all characters, all vehicles, all planets that we create in Star Wars lore, so that moving forward, we can use that content elsewhere. So if we have a planet that appears in a movie, well, we'll know all about that planet and then can use that in a book. Well, conversely, we can have something that starts in a video game and then apply that to a TV show.